Hello, welcome back to Snippet Coder, and we are back with another video. In this video, we will learn about that variation products and all, and in this video, we will learn about how to create a variation product and edit a variation product. So this is our screen of the listing of the variation product for a particular product, and in this screen also we did some modification as per our previous video. So here we included if we have multiple attribute for any variation, so that also we will cover here. And if we want to add any variation, we will click here on the add variation, and here we will get all the list of all the attributes here, and here we can select any attributes value, and this is the second attribute value, and here we will add the price, and then we click on the save. In the same way we can do the edit also, but in the case of edit, this portion will be disabled, that attribute selection and all, but that price we can update, and we can click on the save here. So before starting the video, if you are new to our channel, subscribe the channel by clicking on the subscribe button and click the bell icon to get notified about our latest videos. Thank you. So first of all, we will modify our variable product list page, and we will go to our pages under products, and there we have variable products list dot file, and here we will create small widget here, and the widget name we are putting here attributes names, and here we will pass model file, that is product model, and here we will create one variable, that is where val is equal to model dot attributes dot map. So here we are just doing the mapping here, and whatever the elements we are getting here for the attributes, we are just passing here that option name, and in the bracket we are just passing the attribute name here, and then we are returning here all the attribute with the comma separated, and here we have element, and here we will return element dot option, and here we will put the bracket here, opening bracket, then we have that element dot name here, and then we have the closing bracket here, and here we will return, and here we have val dot join, and here we will join that all the attribute with our separator, and we are putting here separator of dash here, and we will call this function from here. Instead of calling here text widget, we will call here this function, then here we will pass our model. So here it will show all the attributes with our, you can say, multiple attribute with the separator of dash here. So let's see in the UI how it's looking. So now if I click on the product for that variable products, and here you can see we will get the list here. So now you can see here the first variation having two attributes. First one is in a kg, and the second one is in a colors here, and the second variation have only one attribute of color. The third one also have one attribute here. This one is working as per the expectation. So now let's modify the code to have functionality for the add variation and the edit variation and all. So before that we have to create one page here, and we will name the page as a variable products underscore add edit dot file. So we will make it as a stateful widget, and we will name it as a variable product add edit, and we will extend it with our base page, and here also we have base page state, and here we will pass two parameters. First one is a page type, and the second one is a product model, and this will be for the parent product here. Then we have the product model again, and this will be for our variable product model. This will be used in the case of the edit and all, and here we will create the constructor, and this will be this dot page type, then we have this dot product model, and then we have this dot variable product model. So now we will call this page from the listing page and all. Here we have the add variation button. So now from here we will call get dot to, and we have to import here get package. This one we are using for the navigation and all, and it will make the navigation very easier. And here we have variable product add edit, and here we will pass product model, and we are using here this dot widget dot product model. And then we have the page type here, and we are using here page type dot add, because this is for the add screen and all. Then we have the variable product here, and we will not send this from the add variable, because in the add variable we don't have any variable product model and all. That will be used in our edit variable. So we will copy this code, and we will paste here for our edit one. And before that we have to use our gesture detector to have the functionality for the click event for the icon and all, and here we have the gesture detector. Then we have the child here, and here we have to put the on tap event, and we will paste here, and here we will change it to edit, and here we have that variable product model, and we will call here this dot model, and here we will pass model, and this model will be this one. So now reload the application to see is it working or not. And here if I click here, so now if I click on the add variation, so now it is working here, but the issue is that the UI is not coming because we have not added any UI here, and for doing that we have to change it to page UI because we are using here base page and all, and we will remove this one. So now you can see here page is opening here, and we have to do some labeling also so that we should know that we are coming for the add page or for the edit page. And here we will create @override. Then we have void int state, and here we have super dot int state, and here we have the page title is equal to, we will check here if this dot visit dot page type is equal to page type dot add, then we will show here add variation, else we will show here edit variation. So now if I click here add, so you can see here it is coming here add variation. So if I come back and if I again click on the edit button, so now you can see here that edit variation is coming here. So now let's move further and let's add some model file for the variation and all. So now we will create one model file here, and we will go to our model folder, and here we will create variable underscore product underscore model dot file, and here we will create the class here, class variable product model, and here we have the two parameters. First is a string type of regular price, then we have the list type of variable attributes, and we will create this class here, and the variable name we are putting attributes, and we are initializing with the empty array. And here we will create a new class here, class variable attributes, and inside that we are having three parameters. First one is a string type of name, and this will be the name of the attribute. Like in the case of color, it will be a name of the attribute as a color. In the option list, we are having a multiple color, whatever the option we are giving to the user. And the second parameter is the option here, that will be the selection of the option, whatever the option we are selecting for that particular variation product and all. Then we have the list here, and that we are using just for the read only purpose, for showing in the drop down and all, for the selection for the user. And the name we are putting here options. Then we are creating a constructor here. There we have this dot name, then we have this dot option, then we have this dot options. Then we have to create here variable attribute dot from JSON for doing the mapping and all. And here we have map string dynamic, and the parameter name we are putting here JSON, variable name we are putting here JSON. Then we have name is equal to, and we will read the name from the JSON variable name. Then we have the option here, and we are reading it from JSON option. Then we have the toJSON function that will be used for saving the data and all. And here we have map string dynamic toJSON. Then we have final map string dynamic, and the variable name we are putting at data, and we are initializing it with new map string dynamic. Then we have to put the data name, and we are assigning it with the name variable, this dot name. Then we have data option, here we have this dot option, and here we will return data. So now we have to complete this one also, and here we will create the constructor here, and there we have this dot regular price. Then we have this dot attributes, and here we will do that mapping and all, variable product model from JSON. Then we have map string dynamic JSON, and here we have to do the mapping and all, and we are mapping regular price with JSON regular price. Then we are checking here if JSON attributes is not of null, that means this variation having the attributes. Then we will do the mapping here. Then we have attributes is equal to, and we will initialize with the empty array variable attributes dot empty, and we will make it as a growable true because this list is going to grow here and data will going to add here. Then we are doing that JSON, and we are doing that looping and all, and here we have attributes dot for each, and we will add the data here attributes dot add, and here we will create a new variable attributes, and here we will do from JSON, and here we will pass v. Then we have the toJSON function here, and here we have map string dynamic to JSON. Then here we have map string dynamic, and here we have the data here. Then we will initialize with new map string dynamic, and here we will pass here data regular underscore price is equal to this dot regular price, and here we are assigning our variable with our this JSON and all. And here also we will check if this dot attribute is not equal to null, then we will assign the data here. Attributes is equal to this dot attributes dot map, and we will do the mapping here v dot to JSON, and here we will do to list, and here we will return data. So what we are doing here, we have created one variable model file. There we are having two variables. First one is a regular price, then we have the attributes here, then we are creating a constructor here, then we are doing the from JSON, the mapping and all, and here we are mapping our variable regular price with our JSON regular price. Then here we are checking if we are getting the data in the JSON attributes, that means that is not null, and then we are just getting that instance of our attribute variable. Then we are doing the looping here, and then we are adding the data in our attributes, and there we are doing our variable attribute dot from JSON. And here we have the to JSON here, and there we are just assigning our variable value with that JSON, and we are just creating the JSON here. And here we are checking if that attribute is not equal to null, then we are just doing the mapping part, and there we are just doing to JSON, and we are returning a to list. So now let's move further for getting the API service and all. So now we will modify our API service to create the two functions. One is for the create variation, and the second one is for the updation of that variation products. So here we will go to our API service.dot file, and there we have already created for create product and all, and we will copy that function, and we will just copy paste here. And we will do the modifications here, and in the future product model we will change it to boolean type, and on the creation of the product we will just pass here true or false, and we will change the function name to create variable product, and here we will pass that model of variable product model, and here we will pass in type of product ID, whatever the product ID of that particular variation, and here rest of the things are same here till now. So now we will modify this part. And here after that products we will include here $ product ID, then we have slash variations. So this is the endpoint here, wp-json /wc/v3/products/ product ID, then we have slash variations here, then we have the response here, and in the response we are having the header and the body part we are passing here, and here in the response.status code 201, that means the request had been created successfully in the API server. Then we will just return here true, and in the else condition we will return here false. So what we are doing here, we are just modify our existing function. We copy the create product function and we just modify that function, and here we are returning a future type of boolean, and then we are passing it two parameters. First one is a variable product model, then we have the end type of product ID. Then this part is same in all the function here. Here we are just checking the login details, and on the basis of that we are just creating the auth key on the basis of the key and secret. Then we are creating a request header, and there we are passing our authorization auth code. Then we are creating here URL here, and the URL we are just passing a host. Then we have the endpoint here, wp-json /wc/v3, then we have slash products, then we have slash product ID, then we have the variation here, and here we are just getting the response here, and we are checking here the response is 201, that means product is created successfully. Then we are returning it true. In the else condition we are returning a false. So now we will copy this function also, and we will paste here, and we will modify here, and we will rename it to update variable product. Here in the parameter we will add one more parameter, that is n type of variable, n type of variation ID, and the rest of the things are same here. After that variations we will append here $variation ID. So rest of the code is same, and here we have to do the modification because we are doing the updation here. So here we will get the success code as a status code as a 200 in the case of success, and in the else condition we are returning here false. So rest of the code is same. We just added here variation ID, that will be particular product which we are going to update here. Then we have added that variation in that variation ID in the endpoint, and here in the status code we will change it to 200. In the case of 200 we are returning a true, else we are returning a false. So now we will modify our variation product added page so that we can have the functionality for add edit. So we will go here And here we will create one variable here, and the variable name is list type of variable attributes, and this will be used for showing our drop down, that multiple drop down of attributes for particular variation and all. And here we are creating the name as a variable attributes, and we are initializing with the empty array. And here also we have variable product model. Now here we are already getting the data in our product model, and we are passing that from our that previous UI, that is product listing, and there we are having all the attributes for particular product. Then we are just doing the looping here, and here we have this dot visit dot product model dot attributes, and here we will get all the attributes here. And then we will do here for each loop, and then here whatever the data we will get, we will add that data in our variable attributes array, and here we will create new variable attributes, and here we will add one name, and name we will get from element dot name. Then we have the option, and by default we will make it as empty here. And then we have the options here, and the options we will show here element dot options, and this will have all the list of the option. Like example, we have the attribute name is color, and in that color we are having multiple colors like red color, yellow color, orange color. That will come here in the options list, and that drop down will be used for selection of that particular variation and all. After that we will check here if this dot visit dot page type is equal to page type dot edit, then we will do the edit part, that will be covered later on. In the else condition we will do for our add page, and here we have this dot variable product model is equal to new of variable product model, and we are just creating the instance of that product model here. Then we have this dot variable product dot attributes product model dot attributes, and we will initialize with the empty array. So now we will create our UI here, and here we will create one variable here, and that will be the global key form state. Global key is equal to global key form state, and here we will return new form. Then we have the key here, and key name we will provide here global key which we have created. Then we have the child here, and we are using here single child scroll view. Then we have the child inside that, and we are using here column visit. Then we have the children's here. Inside that children we are just creating here list view, and that list view is used for showing our multiple attributes and all. We are using a list view dot separated. Then we have the shrink here, and we are using here true. Then we have the physics here, and we are using here scroll physics. Then we have the item counts here, and for the item count we are using here this dot visit dot product model dot attributes dot length. So it will have all the count of as per that total attributes and all. Then we have the item builder here. Here we have the context index. Then here we are returning here column visit, and here we have the children's here. Inside the children we are using here row visit. There we have the children's, and here we are using the flexible visit, and here we have the text for the child, and here we are just showing that attribute name and all. And this will be this dot visit dot product model dot attributes. Then we have the index here. Then we have name here, and the fit we are using here, and here we have the fit here, and we are using here flex fit dot loose. Then we have our size box here, and we are using a width 10. Then we have the flexi visit, and here we have the child here, and we are using a drop down button, and we are using a string. And the value we are checking here if this dot variable attributes and the index here, passing here index dot option is not of empty. Then we will show here this dot variable attributes index dot option, and the else we are just calling here null. Then we have the items here, and for the item we are using here this dot variable attributes, and we are passing the index here. Then we have the options here. Then we are doing the mapping here, and we will rename it to value. Then here we will return here drop down menu item, and we are passing a string. Then we have the value here, and we are passing a value. And for the child we are just showing here text visit with that value, and here we will call toList. Then we have the on change event. Whenever the value is changed, and we will update the value in our array, and here we will call set state this dot variable attributes, and here we will pass the index here. dot option is equal to new value. So what it will do, whatever the value we will select from the option list, it will update our option variable with that new value whichever is selected. That option we are just passing here in as a null in the case of that when we initialize the page and all. So when the new value is selected, it will update that value. So now let's run the application to see is it working or not. So here if I click on the add variation, so here we are getting the error here. So now let's see what the issue is. So here we have to put here separator builder, context index, then we have divider here. So now error is not coming here. So now you can see here the UI is not good because we are just focusing on that content part, like for that dynamic part and all, and that's why we are not focusing more on that our UI part and all. Here we are getting all that attributes for that particular variation. First one is a kg and that is a size, and in the drop down we are getting here two size, that is 10 and 5, and here in the color also we are getting all the color which are assigned to that attribute, that color attribute. Here we have red and green. So when I click on that red, it will select that value as a red here. If I select here green, it will select as a green here. So now let's move further to complete the UI and all. So here we will create form helper, and that we will use for our, you can say, for our regular price field and all. And here we have form helper, and we are using an input field with label, and here we have the context, then we have that icon here, and we are using any dummy icon here, icons.web icon. Then we have the key name, and we are using here a regular price, and the label also we are using here a regular price. Then we have the hint text here, and we are not using anything. And then we have the validation here, and we are putting here on validate, and we will check here on validate dot is empty. Then we will return here a regular price can't be empty, in the else we will return here null. And then we have the on save event, and here we have this dot variable product model dot regular price is equal to on save value. And then we have the initial value that will be used in the case of the edit and all, and we are passing here this dot variable attribute. Here we have this dot variable product model dot regular price. And then we have our border focus color and everything that is not required because we are not focusing more on that UI part and all. So here we are getting that regular price and all, but that position is not in a proper way. So we have to copy this code from here. We will cut here and we will pass after this one, and that will come after list view. So now you can see here we are getting a regular price and all. And then we will create that widget for our button and all. Here we are using here center widget. And then here we have the child, and we are using a form helper dot submit button, and the name of the button we are putting here save. And then we have the on tap event. So now you can see here button is coming, but that position is not in a proper way. And here we have to put the size box, and we are putting a height of 20. It will give some spacing in the top from the top. So now you can see here. So now we will create small function here, small method that is for validating and all. And here we have boolean type of validate and save. And here we have final form is equal to global form key dot current state. It will get the current state of the form, and we will check here if that form dot validate. Then we will call here form dot save, and we will return here true. In the else, by default we will call here return false. So we will call this function from here if validate and save. Then we will go inside and we will call our API and all. And before that we have to create one variable also for the API service. API service is equal to new of API service, and here we will assign the values for the attributes and all. Here we have variable product model dot attributes. So what we have to do, we have to get all the selected variable, whatever the data we will put here in the drop down, and we will fetch only those data which is selected. In case if we have not selected the first attribute value, that will not go to the database. It will only go that particular attribute whichever is selected here. For doing that we have to do some manipulations here, and here we have to call this dot variable attributes dot where, and here we will check if element dot option is not empty. That data we will fetch, else we will not fetch those data which is empty. Then we will call here provider of loader provider, and here we have the context listen false, and here we will call dot set loading status true. That means we are going to do the API hit and all, and here we will check if this dot visit dot page type is equal to page type dot add. Then we will call here add API service dot create variable product, and here we have the model here. The model we have to provide here this dot variable product model, and here we have to pass the product ID also, and here we will call this dot visit dot product model dot ID. Then we will check here, and here we will check. So once the value is received, we will just disable the loading and all, and we will make the set loading status to false. And here we will check if value is true, that means successful. Then we will redirect to our home page. In the else condition, we will stay in the same page. So now let's rerun the application to see the add functionality is working or not. And we will reload here application. And here if I click on the add button, so now if I click on the add variation here, and here we will add the variation for, you can say kg10, and the color we are selecting here green. The price we are putting here 50, and we will click on the save here. So we are redirected to the home page. That means the data is successfully added. Now we will go to the products, and here we click on the add button. So now you can see we are getting 4 data here. Previously it is 3. So recently data is added in the top, that is 10 kg, and the color is green here. So that is working fine. So now let's do the edit part and all. So now we will go to the top, and here in the edit condition we will check here this dot variable product model is equal to new of variable product model, and we will create the instance here, and then we will assign that variable product model dot regular price is equal to this dot visit dot variable product model dot regular price. Then we will do the looping and all, and here we have variable attributes for each loop. So what we have to do here, so now we have all the variable attributes here for the collection. So now we will check here if whatever the data is coming for the edit, in that case we have to assign those edit value in here, so that it will show, drop down will show all the selected value also. For doing that we have to do the looping here, and inside the loop we will create one variable where val is equal to this dot visit dot variable product model dot attributes dot where, and here we will check, and here we will rename to edit element, and here we will check if edit element dot name is equal to element dot name. That means we are getting the selected value. In that case we will check here if val dot length is equal to 1, then we will assign the value of element dot option is equal to val dot first dot option here. So what we are doing here, we are just looping to the variable attributes, and there in the each element we are checking here with our edit data, like we are getting that selected attribute in our database save or not. If it is saved, then we are just assigning that save value with that element dot option value, and in the drop down it will show that value selected over there. So here rest of the things are same. So now reload the application to see. So now if I go there, and here if I select any value on the edit, so now you can see here we are getting the selected value here, that is kg we are getting here 10, and the color we are getting green, and the regular price we are getting whatever the price is. So now if I see the second record also, and here you can see the kg we are getting 5, color we are getting red, and the price whatever the price is there we are getting. So in the case of the single attribute also, if I click here, so now we are getting a color as a green but a kg as in nothing. So now the tricky part here is, in the case of edit we can only edit the regular price, not that attributes. So but that attributes that drop down is accessible. So to make it disable here we have to modify our code here. So now we will go here. So here the drop down we have to put the visit here, and the visit name we are using here ignore visit, ignore pointer, and this will make the visit disable here. And here we will pass the child, and here check here for the ignoring we will check here this dot visit dot page type. If it is page edit type, then we will make it as a disable here, and we will put here true. In the else condition we will make it as a false here. So it will check here if that page type is edit page, then we have to ignore this and we will make the disable it, else we have to enable it. So now if I click here, you can see we are not able to touch this area. So if I click on the add variation, and here if I select here we are able to access that area. So now last part we have to do, and here in the else condition of save button we will put here else, and we will copy this code and we will paste here, and here we will change it to update And here we have to pass this dot visit dot variable product model ID, variable product model dot ID, and this will create that. It will fetch that ID of that variation and all, and then the rest of the code is same. So now reload the application to see is it working or not. So now if I'm going to update this last value, that 10 kg, right now price is 10. So now let's change it to 50. So now if I click on the save button, so here we have to go again. So now you can see here value has been updated to 50 here. So that's all in this video. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, comment, share. I will come back soon with another awesome videos. Thank you for watching the video.